Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Atrocious. You can also call me Jake, and today we've got the Fukuoka Championships here for you in OP08, another OP08 tournament here in the Championship Series. Excited to get into this one. Red Purple Law absolutely dominating the last couple of tournaments, back-to-back double-digit numbers in the top 16, owning the meta share and also owning the charts, has not lost an OP08 major at this point in time, at the time of this recording. But that doesn't mean that a new leader will appear. That doesn't mean that some new techniques and strategies will be unlocked in trying to dethrone the king that is Red Purple Law. We'll get it to you in all the rounds, but first let's get into the top 16 and the meta share. So looking at the top 16, this might be a little exciting in here. Although you may look and see 11 Red Purple Laws, we've got 2 Rob Lucci's, 1 Black Luffy, 1 Calgara, another Calgara making the top 16, second tournament in a row, and 1 Nami defying the odds against what is arguably its worst matchup in One Piece history in Red Purple Law, persevering itself. So I don't know the matchup yet. We are actually watching this live, and this is a good time to tell you this is not my content. This is the official live stream I'm currently watching and doing my own commentary as well. So I don't know what it is at the time of this recording. You'll know by the title and thumbnail. Fingers crossed it's Nami, because that's my deck. All right, players shuffling it up. We'll see the leaders here in a second. They've been keeping it a secret, both with those red sleeves. Law versus Nami. Here we go. This is my time to shine in here. Let me put this on full screen as we get into the action. I have never been more excited. We are cheering for the Nami. I know a lot of you probably don't like Nami, but as Law has dominated the format, we need to be seeing some other decks. So we're going to be taking a look at what this deck looks like. Nami, for those of you that do not know, especially you Western folks over in the US, Nami gets a little bit of a revamp heading into OP07 that translates a bit into OP08. Very excited. I do see out of the corner on the bottom left side of the screen, it is going to be a updated version that you'll see more frequently in OP07 with Nami. And so keeping the hand, deciding to keep the hand, looks like a pretty decent hand for the Nami overall, in my opinion. We'll see both players' hands here in a moment. So excited to see this one here for you. Looks like it's going to be exciting. I've seen a lot of rumors lately, and I'll get back to that point here in a minute. We're going to talk about the hand real quick. Eustace, Captain Kidd, Queen, Kid Killer, Sachi Penguin, and Black Maria. Black Maria going to be very interesting to see in this role overall in this matchup, because the Black Maria, a great card, arguably the best card in the deck, but when a deck like Nami doesn't necessarily play a ton of characters on the field, which this Nami might actually do depending on the cards that it has in hand, it could be interesting to see where this goes. And so the Nami player having a pretty decent hand, I would say. 2 Gum Gum Gavels, 2 very good cards, 1 Sanji's Pilaf, a card that we see a ton in Nami all the time, always a 4 of. A White Snake, a very good card in this matchup, especially for a lot of decks that swing 5. And then a Margaret, the new 3-drop blocker coming in OP07 that on play draws a card. So one of those characters in the Nami deck that you might not necessarily care to get bottom decked, because it does have that value of drawing a card. So it looks like the Red Purple Law player is going first. Going to be a Dawn and Pass heading into the Nami's turn. The Nami is going to pick up a 3rd Gavel. So you don't necessarily love seeing a 3rd Gavel, but it's not the worst thing in the world. So we'll see where the player decides to go. The Red Purple Law on the 3 Dawn turn, getting that Raise Max. Don't necessarily need to play Raise Max. Might be thinking of playing Black Marita, but a 5k swing is going to be an easy counter off of a White Snake right here. Going to be so interesting. Let's see if they end up playing the White Snake right now, and it looks like they're not. It looks like they're actually going to be playing a Gavel at this point, going to choose to get rid of a card, maybe leaning towards the Margaret. I saw them eyeing up the White Snake. The White Snake could have been nice to be able to draw a card, but maybe trying to get in a situation to where they aren't going to be caught by a red purple law 4-drop law on those 7 cards in hand. So going to be trashing and getting a Kaya and Impel Down All-Stars in the trash. The Black Maria is played and the turn is passed. Not using leader effect and then Black Maria to play down something like Sachi Penguin or Kid Killer. Going to go into the 4-Don turn now for the Nami, and so resting 3, going to be playing that Sanji's Pilaf. I don't hate this play because the Black Maria not really susceptible to swing, and so you can leave that 1-Don open for that Gavel and then use the rest to counter out. They did draw a Kaya and an Apis, both great cards in this deck. The Kaya, a mainstay in the Nami decks in general. And so now at the 5-Don turn, going to be thinking about where they want to go, eyeing up the Queen right here. You could see a Queen or a Eustace Captain Kidd hit the field, maybe thinking about the Queen just to get some rush characters going overall. And so going to be playing this Queen, going to do that Dawn -1, draw 2 instrumental cards and then pitch 1. Probably thinking after grabbing the Sanji and Black Maria to pitch this Raise Max. Not a lot of characters. If they do play characters down, you're not going to need to minus them because most all of them, except for Zeph, is a 3,000 power or less. So thinking about also using leader effect, I don't hate the idea of using leader effect, especially playing down the Reiju, right? Reiju would be 5 cards in hand overall, and after saying overall for the overall 100th time, going to be playing Sanji instead, just putting down that character, a 6,000 power body to be able to swing in the next turn. So after Black Maria, just putting up the Dawn and swinging a nice 5 at lead. So got a couple different ideas here, but going to be taking the life. So getting that Impel Down All-Stars, the first trigger, a big one, and going to draw 2 cards, the Level of Mellow and the Rubber Band of Doom. The Rubber Band on Doom is going to be a really, really good card as you get another Margaret for the 6-Dawn turn on the Nami. Now, as Nami, especially in matchups such as Red Purple Law, you need to be proactive to an extent on your turns. You need to be doing something so then you're just not draw passing and not being able to do anything with your Dawn when they don't decide to swing. So the player on the right side really trying to get maybe the starter deck laws, and so taking the L on the Kaya right there, going to be drawing 2 Kayas at this point. Did find a Rubber Band of Doom and a Margaret. Thinking of pitching 2 Margarets. I don't necessarily hate that play, the Margaret, even though it is, in my opinion, a pretty decent card. It will get bottom decked pretty easily, and it's a card that essentially replaces itself. Could be nice to see at the late game, but as a card that only draws 1, you would rather have Kayas on the bottom at this point other than the Margaret. So thinking about Gavel and Margaret, just leaving 1 Margaret open and then resting 3 Dawn. It looks like maybe resting 3 Dawn. At this point, you do have 2 6,000 power characters that you do have to face, and you did get a little bit of draw going, so you did get that plus in terms of minusing your deck a bit. 6 Dawn turn at this point, getting a pudding off of that top deck. Pudding not necessarily something that will really help you overall because the Black Maria is around. Black Maria not really a character that you're too worried about. Going to more than likely be using leader effect before taking any swings at this point. So after playing that Reiju, hard playing the Reiju, going to be drawing 2 cards. No starter deck law, no 4-drop laws yet, which are very, very good in this matchup. And instead finding Queen and I think another Pudding. So going to be using that leader effect again before any Snake Dances get that card back in their hand. And going to be playing the Kid Killer on the leader effect. And so doing the Black Maria, going to be getting a bunch of Dawn back with 2 Dawn open at this point. Going to start out by swinging 6. You've got 2 Rubber Bands of Doom in hand. Rubber Band of Doom is going to be the one that is more than likely going to be played. You are going to play that one down, trash a card. It's going to be a Snake Dance. So Snake Dance, a good card overall, but not the worst card that could have been discarded. And off of this other 6, you might be thinking of playing another Rubber Band down to be able to defend against this. So both rubber bands from hand down and a third one hitting the trash. Going to be swinging another 6, not leaving any room right now for a White Snake, which is very, very good in my opinion. We won't see the Reiju swing. We'll probably see this one Dawn open or maybe attached to the Kid and Killer to swing 6. So thinking about whether or not they want to take this or leave it, going to be playing that Gavel and getting rid of a card in their hand. Could see this Margaret go down. I think they're leaning towards maybe the Apis at this point. And getting the white or the Snake Dance, getting rid of a Spada and Daz Bones. So Daz Bones, a card, especially when you only have 4 in hand and have to guard against this 6K swing, going to be resting 2 to play that Love Mellow because you have 3 cards in hand to draw 1 and see what you can get. Going to be another Gavel, which is nice, but your hand is starting to get so small overall as the Nami player, and you're probably still somewhere around 20 cards, like 25-ish cards in your deck. At this point, somewhere between like 25 and 30. I haven't been keeping count, to be honest. This is my first Nami game I think I've casted on the desk in terms of these Japanese championships, and I was so enthralled by the Nami I forgot to start keeping track. So hopefully this Nami makes it out of this so that we can start practicing that in the top 8. So attaching 2 and swinging, it's going to be at the Kid and Killer but countered out, and going to have 6 Dawn open to be able to get out of the swings. You do have White Snake, Gavel, and Love Mellow. So the White Snake, if you ever see a 5K swing, could be the deal to be able to get out of a lot of these swings and mess around off of these awkward numbers overall. You're probably using the Gavel to get rid of the Margaret in your hand at this point. And 5 cards in hand overall. Only about 23 cards remaining. I just very quickly tried to do some math for you there. I think it's about 23. It's either 24 or 23 cards left in deck at this point. With that swing right there, it's going to be a 2K counter to get out of that 6K swing. And are they trying to, it looks like they're trying to put both trashes together, not letting them separate right there. That's something that you'll see sometimes at these bigger stages. But anyways, with, let's assume 23 cards left in deck in that swing, the Love Mellow is going to be able to draw a card, which is very nice. I think at this stage of the game, you had a little bit awkward of a hand with 5, and so being able to potentially draw a card to either use off of the Gum Gavel or potentially counter out more swings, because it doesn't look like this Law player is going to allow just a simple 5K swing at this stage of the game. So swinging another 6 at lead, going to be forcing this Love Mellow potentially in here. I think this is a fine idea. Going to be 22 cards left in deck as they draw into the Sanji's Pilaf. The Sanji's Pilaf is going to be very, very nice getting out of this turn. You're probably taking at least 1 life at this point, especially with the different cards that you have right here. But the 6K swing might prompt either a life right now or a gavel. I think you probably want to hold. Maybe you want to take the life at this stage of the game because maybe it can force the loss swing right now. So thinking about what they want to do, going to be resting one for that gavel, getting rid of that Margaret, going to be putting themselves to 20 cards, a peel off and a Spada, hitting the discard pile right now. So only 2 cards in hand. This is the one thing that you really want to try to avoid as you are a Nami player. As a Nami player, you don't want your hand size to get real small if you're not playing something like a Deathwink build, right, of these decks, which Nami has tried to get around, avoid at this point. So going to be taking this life. Let's see if it's a trigger. It is not. It's a Gloriosa. So the Gloriosa is tough right now, but if there's another 6k swing that comes in, you could see a White Snake and Gloriosa discard to be able to get out of the swing and be a 6k body, right? It would take a little bit more work to be able to get characters down and swinging. So looking at 5, going to be swinging a, what is this, a 7 with the Black Maria right now, really forcing the opponent. And this is a very, very interesting spawn, because if you take this life, which you're going to have to, now the Kid and Killer is going to be online and even stronger. So Deathwink is in here, so they are playing Deathwink, not going to be able to counter out, or they will be able to counter out of this next swing in this turn. Going to be going down to 18 cards in deck with 2 life. Very difficult when Kid and Killer is sitting there on the field looking at you in the face. So going to have to trash 1 card in here, draw 2, trash 1 off of the spot. Thinking about trashing the Deathwink. The Deathwink would be very interesting to get rid of, because it is something that can really help get rid of a lot of these bigger swings from something like the Kid and Killer. But now this 8k swing, you're going to have to use the White Snake. You're going to have to Spada. I would recommend spotting first, in my opinion, with, okay, real quick, hold on, we're going to start counting. So it looks like they're actually at 19 cards, I believe. So 19 cards after that quick little recount right there. I would recommend, if you're planning on playing the White Snake, use the Desert Spada. The Desert Spada is going to be able to look at the top 3, and you're going to be able to guarantee, you know, what you potentially want to get off of here. You're going to be able to manipulate off the White Snake, but instead takes the life. And Impel Down All-Stars is going to draw 2 more cards. Going to be a peel off and a love. So great life so far as this Nami player, but with 17 cards left in deck, you do only have 1 life remaining here. So now thinking with the rest of the turn, going to potentially be using leader effect to put down a character. Could be playing down this Eustace, or I'm sorry, not the Eustace Captain Kid. Going to be playing down this Pudding and passing the turn off to the Nami. So the Nami now drawing another card. It's going to be a Kaya. Kaya is going to be very, very nice, but you're going to have to balance with multiple Sanji's Pilafs in hand where you want to go to stop all of these swings. 3 Dawn is crucial at this point in the game, and so we'll see where our player decides to go after getting to 16 off of that top deck. Maybe thinking about playing the Kaya and pitching a couple cards. Maybe thinking about playing both Pilaf and Kaya at a full 10 Dawn turn. That would be 4 of your 10 available Dawn, and might be starting out with a Sanji's Pilaf. Going to be doing that 3 to draw 2, getting to 14 cards in general. Going to be a Gloriosa and an Apis. Going to be nice on that front, and then the Kaya is going to get them down to 12 overall in the deck. Snake Dance, and it looks like another Gloriosa. So thinking about pitching double Gloriosa, you do have that Snake Dance in hand. You've got a couple really good counter events right now with the Snake Dance. You've got the Love Mellow. You got the whatchamacallit, the Desert Spada, and a bunch of different cards with counter on it alongside it to get your Love Mellow to draw. Thinking about pitching the Pilafs, I can understand where the player is coming from, though, in thinking about pitching the Pilafs at this stage of the game, because with the Pilafs, that's not going to help you on defense, right? Pilaf is great to help you in life, but in your hand on the defense, it is a dead card overall. So especially with Kid and Killer's 6K body staring at you in the face, it's going to be really tough for the Nami at this point to be able to get out of this situation. 12 cards left in deck, though. We've seen crazy things happen with Nami decks at the end stages of the game, and we are getting near this one right now. But is thinking about pitching this Pilaf on here. Pilaf and Gloriosa going to be their options. Really a thinker at this point, and I cannot blame them for taking a while to make this decision. It is going to be the Pilaf and the Gloriosa. The Pilaf, a card that is so good at the end game, is not going to be helping them in this one. So going to be swinging 5 probably at that Kid and Killer, and going to be passing the turn to the opponent. They've got also 7 cards in hand, so a top deck 4-drop blocker law could be the death, and it is going to be a Raise Max. So the Raise Max is going to be not essential in this. We could see something like the Queen come down. The Queen would be nice on that 5 and Dawn minus to continue digging. Let's see, how many Dawn are they at? It looks like they're at 9 Dawn overall. So if you did draw into your ST10 4-cost law, it would be essential in getting rid of 2 random cards that are so helpful, especially when they only have 7. So actually, I'm going to be looking back real quick and doing a quick count of how many cards they had. No, hold on to that. So can confirm 12 cards left in deck at this point. So with many swings incoming, remember, we replaced that Black Maria with the Charlotte Pudding. So the Charlotte Pudding, a 4,000 power character, going to get 2K advantage heading into this turn. Going to start out by swinging a 9 right here. 9, a really good number in general, and one thing that you could do right here, you could use Snake Dance, right? Snake Dance would be getting that Kaya back in hand, but first going to White Snake. The White Snake is going to put you at 11 cards after grabbing that Margaret. Margaret not going to help you in that Snake Dance, putting the Kaya back, just building counter in the hand and leaving only 2 Dawn left in general. The judge asking to leave the White Snake so everybody is fully aware. Remember, with White Snake, the Nami is now a 6,000 power leader. So as of right now, the only 2 other things that can swing at it without any Dawn attachments are the Sanji and the Kid and Killer. So we'll see if our red purple law player commits any more Dawn in other places. And it's going to be interesting as well to see how they do this countering, because there's plenty of counter cards in hand with 2 2Ks and 2 1Ks, as well as a Desert Spada and a Love Mellow. In this situation too, with the counter events in hand, you're only going to be able to choose one or the other in terms of the Spada and the Love Mellow. So first off of that 7K swing on the Kid and Killer, going to be pitching an op piece. That's a 2K to get you up to 8,000 power. Going to be nice for efficiency with that White Snake, and 2 Dawn is looking to be attached. Might be attaching it to the Pudding. Thinking about another one, 2 Dawn would mean that a Gloriosa would get you out of that situation. I think the player of Nami is looking to potentially keep this Kaya in their hand into their next turn. So this 7K swing now going at the Nami is going to prompt the Gloriosa care package right here. Both of them overall going to be 2 cards pitched away right there. And one thing that you love seeing as the red purple law player here on the right side is that you're seeing a lot of these good cards being pitched away, right? 2 searchers in the Gloriosas, efficient cards in the deck to be able to find your Kuja Pyro pieces, which is your Margarets, your Snake Dances, as well as potentially other pieces that you may not know about. So 5 Dawn left. If they want to swing with any more characters, it is going to have to make Dawn commitment, and you will not be able to play anything down at this point. And let's see where they go. Thinking about 1 Dawn going to be swinging a 6 at them. Could do. This is a tough spot because with 4 Dawn remaining, you are going to be 8,000. Thinking about pitching the Kaya right here. Do you pitch the Kaya at this point? That is the question. The Kaya would get out of this swing with 11 cards remaining overall. And we'll see in here. Going to maybe even need a good trigger and going to be pitching the Kaya. That hurts to see if you're the Nami player right now. Going to be Juichi in there with 11 cards remaining. It's a tight match overall in this one. The Reiju right here, with 2 Dawn left and attaching the 4 Dawn, could be the Love Mellow. The Love Mellow would get you out of the swing and potentially another card, but it's looking mighty tough out here as the Nami player in this one, I'd have to say. But the game's still not over yet. We've seen crazy things with Nami, hoping to see another crazy thing. Thankfully, on the right side, there's no Kid and Killers in hand. Kid and Killer would be literal Kid and Killer at this point of the contest, because that would just be another consistent 7K swing. And opting to look at the trash yet again, just getting a count of specific things in there. Putting the Kayas out in front. I think I saw that there was all 4 Kayas in general right there. So looking in there, getting a count for everything that they could see. Thinking like, okay, 2 Dawn, what is the possible play? I think they're trying to think if it's worth the 9K swing on the Reiju. Now, if you really wanted to be annoying, you could do a 6K swing on the Reiju, do a little bit of a poke, and then attach the rest of the Dawn to the Pudding to swing 7. And I think at this point, you're going to have to take one of the life on this swing. But first, going to be doing that Love Mellow, getting to 10 cards. At this point, going to be another Love Mellow, but the Love Mellow is not anything with counter to stop this 7K swing. It's going to be this life. It's a trigger. It's an Impel Down All-Stars, and going to be 8 cards. It's going to be a White Snake with a Daz Bones right there. And going to be going to 7 now. The 7 now is going to be a Snake Dance. Snake Dance, not exactly what you want to see right here, because the Snake Dance isn't something that you can do during your turn to be able to draw cards. Dazbone going to be instrumental getting a Gum Gavel, but as soon as you put the Dazbones on the field, you're going to have 1 card going back into your deck. The problem right now with this setup that this player has is that they have so many cards in hand right now and not enough cards that on the counter get rid of stuff like rubber bands, gavels, things that get rid of your discard piles. So we'll see exactly where they decide to navigate this. I think getting a gavel is essential in here to be able to potentially use the Love Mellow to draw a card. But remember, every single card that you play right now or that you add to hand is more Dawn commitment. So only 10 Dawn to work with. A close game overall at this point. Please do not attach any Dawn to the Nami and swing. Really thinking about, with only 7 cards left in general at this point, this is the final turn for the Nami, the final on their side of the stage, and it is going to be that Daz Bones probably grabbing the gavel, I would think, to be able to get 2 cards down. probably pitching one of these events that you don't necessarily need. We'll see if they play the Margaret. The Margaret would be one more card to be able to get. That would put them down to 6 overall at this point. And with only 6 cards in deck, you would get one step closer with using 4 Dawn after drawing that card. And that draw could be something instrumental. You know what's in the rest of your deck, but you don't know the order. With these styles of Nami decks, you lose the opportunity to play something like Buggy, but going to be playing that Margaret, drawing one card, going to be 6, and it's going to be, what is it? Move your hand, buddy. I think it's a rubber band, a great card as well to be able to get one more card off, and we are so close. Remember, it doesn't matter if the defense... Oh boy, here we go. I think the turn has just been passed. 6 left. And remember, again, as soon as Nami hits 0 overall, that is going to be the end of the game. It's going to be tough, though, at this point, since you only have 6 cards left in deck. You know that one of them is going to be bottom decked, and oh man, this is going to be so close right now at this point. And so moving around now, it's time for the red purple law player to do some math. A very extremely close game overall, and I would say that the red purple law player had a really good start as well with the Black Maria early, was able to play characters down very efficiently, get plenty of 6,000 power bodies early in the game with the Sanji, and drawing, what did they draw into? Another Sanji, a 2k counter. That's not a Kid Killer. We love to see that. And so thinking about what they want to do, if they attach 2, it is going to be a 9,000 power swing from the Queen and Sanji, an efficient number. Remember, if you do want to beat Nami, swinging 7s and 9s are really, really good numbers in general against the deck in terms of being able to attack it. Very similar to a lot of other matchups that you would play. Is there a world where this Nami player ends up getting enough in? I see 5, I see 4, I see potentially 3, and then 2, but you would run out of Dawn at that point. You would use up all 6 Dawn. I can only see, let's see, 1 gets bottom decked, the Gavel gets 2, that's 5, Rubber Band is 4, Love Mellow is 3, the White Snake is 2. It's not looking great at this point. I think you're just short as the Nami player, but you never know exactly what's going to happen in this one. Some crazy things could happen. We could see some 2k counters come in. We could see some things go on, and it looks like the bottom decking is going to happen first overall. The first thing in general, before even playing down a character or using it on any of the swings, maybe just wanting to add the character to the deck in general, attaching 3 Dawn is going to be 710,000 power overall in this. And this is why I really like Deathwink as a card and wish that the player could have kept it earlier. Going to be accidentally dropping that 1 card, going to be playing Spana first. Spana doesn't necessarily get you anywhere, but could find an important card. It's going to be 3 cards right here, 3 cards that we don't know about. It's a White Snake Kaya. Oh no, the White Snake Kaya is not something that you're looking for. In general, it's going to be tough right here, keeping it on the top, saying maybe off of the Gavel, I am going to get rid of it. The Gavel, what is the Gavel going to get rid of is the question right here. It looks like it's going to be that Snake Dance potentially. I don't hate that play in general. Going to be doing 2 though, and using the Snake Dance to pick up the Daz Bones. So that 10,000 power, you only have 3 Dawn left at this point. So maybe thinking about pitching the Daz Bones with counter. If they decide to swing another 10k, you could use the gavel to hit the White Snake, trash 2 cards, use the Daz Bones to get around it. You would have 2 Dawn left. So the Rubber Band and the Love Mellow, it's going to have to be a decision between those two. I just don't see how you're going to be able to get around this if the player on the right side really does the math well with the rest of this 4 Dawn that they have. But with only 4 Dawn, that sacrifice of 3 that they made is going to potentially provide a problem. Going to be 6 right there. That's going to be the Rubber Band. Again, efficiency is what you're looking for. Going to be trashing 1. Gonna be that Kaya. The Kaya, even though you put it on top, it does hurt in general. 4 Dawn left. A couple swings to go. And we'll see, with only 2 Dawn, it looks like going to have to be either the Love Mellow or the Gavel. And so 3 Dawn, they're looking to commit. It's going to be attached to the Sanji. And with this, it looks like it's going to have to be Love Mellow and the Daz Bones probably right here, I would think. You know you're going to be drawing a White Snake because we know that top 3 was White Snake, Kaya. And if the Kaya was pitched off the Rubber Band, it's going to be tough. I would have... not looking good. It looks like the Red Purple Law is going to be getting it with about 6 cards left in deck. That Love Mellow is going to draw 1 to put you at 5. I believe that White Snake right there going to... Did that get out of it? No, wait, that didn't get out of it, did it? Just the Love Mellow, because that was 9. That 5k swing is going to be countered out, and another 5k swing right there is going to give it to Red Purple Law. So Red Purple Law, once again, just taking out decks in the top 16, making its way into the top 8. A tough match, a good match in general, very, very nice. But we saw, especially when the Nami player just got an incredibly small hand, right? When their hand was only 2 or 3 cards. Yes, they got a couple cards off of the Impel Down All-Star trigger, but in general, the Red Purple Law provided dominance with playing Black Maria early to be able to spam out characters in general, right? Especially with the Black Maria early, because it never swung, it never went sideways. There was no chance to get rid of it as the Nami, as you're not playing things like Brick Fist and whatnot, and especially playing the leader effect, getting a 6k body down on turn 2. Think about that. On turn 2, on the 3 Dawn turn, the Red Purple Law player played Black Maria, swung 5 with lead, used leader effect to play the Sanji, a 6 cost 6,000 power character, and then use Black Maria to get the Dawn all back. An incredible showing of the Nami deck, in my opinion. A good shot and, you know, a fair matchup overall. So let's go look at some sample deck lists. So deck lists aren't available at this point at the time of the recording because we are pretty much watching it live at this time. But what I will say is this is probably pretty close to what the Nami deck was in general, except I think what the player did is maybe exchanged the Zephs right here. I don't recall seeing Zephs in the deck. It could have been one of the last couple cards, but they definitely had Deathwing. So I think if you're looking for kind of a closer version in there, I think maybe taking out the 2 Zephs and instead putting in 2 of the Deathwinks would be very, very good. You could also go 1 Deathwink and then 1 of the 0 cost blue events to get plus 3,000 power, because as you saw, sometimes with these Nami decks, you just don't have cards that you can play. You don't have efficient ways of continuing your game plan and being able to play defense. So the zero cost event could be nice in some situations to be able to get rid of several things, but this is probably pretty close to the list. This is the adjustments that they make in OP07. I've even posted a list on Twitter. If you, oops, I'm not upgrading my Twitter. Heck no. I posted my list that I'm going to be playing in OP07 on Twitter. I know a lot of you have liked it. There's been 24 freaking bookmarks on it. So if you want to go check that out, feel free. And then also just follow me on Twitter at AtrociousJake. Now, again, we don't have this winning list, but we can showcase the winning list from the Tokyo Championship Series, as it is a good deck overall and a good skeleton if you want to decide to play the deck. A couple things we didn't see in this game get showcased: the Tony Chopper blockers, the toy promo loss have becoming more popular in OP08, the Rush Zoros, all cards that we didn't see along with these Trafalgar Law blockers. So if I had to take a guess, I bet he was playing 4 Sanjis instead of these Tony Choppers. Tony Chopper, in my opinion, a good card to play in this deck, but that player not opting for it in there and instead opting for the 2K counter and also the ability to just get a 6,000 power body pretty early in the game, as specifically on turn 3, as we saw in that game. But that's going to be all for me. Thank you so much for watching. It is about 1:30 a.m., so I am going to go to bed. We're going to be putting out a round every single day. I'm going to record them, the rest of them, in the morning, so then you can get very good reactions in there, true reactions, genuine reactions. I'm going to not look at social media in the morning and just watch the rest of it to be able to talk to you all. And so thank you again so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully that was good. It was a little crazy at the end, but it was a lot of fun. And yeah, hopefully somebody takes down Law.